Yeah, for just give couple of minutes. I think we will
Sure.
join. Yeah. Well, we'll start at 12 sharp. Okay?
Sure.
Samay has already posted. Good timing. Markets are bullish. Okay, so we'll just wait for a couple of seconds and then we'll start.
Sure.
Uh, yeah. Markets have actually turned bullish today again.
Yeah, but apparently it's just been see it's back in the red, so it's just holding on, I guess, for the day.
Yeah. Ah, right. It's flattish right now.
Yeah.
It's holding up. Okay, cool. So thanks everyone for joining our YouTube live today. And we have with us Forum. Forum will be discussing about stocks, Nifty and Bank Nifty over the near term. And especially this is a good timing also because tomorrow is expiry for the month and we will see a bit of volatility in the markets right now. So, so so dollar index again is close to 109. So Forum, if you could start off with what's the view on Bank Nifty and Nifty, and then we can slowly move towards a bit of dollar index and then towards the stock side. And we have like many questions here, so we'll keep addressing that.
Sure. So thank you very much, firstly, for having me here, and happy to share my views on the markets as well. So, firstly, that today the markets have been so like a bit quiet side. Like we've seen an up move in the store Nifty, Bank Nifty, and then again we saw it coming down. Now it's flattish, but luckily we can see the Bank Nifty is yet in green. It's holding up by around I think 0.2%, around 86 points up. So let's first start with Nifty. I is my screen visible?
Yes, it is full.
Okay. So let's first look at the Nifty. I have marked few horizontals if you all can see that it's marked in green. So currently the support levels for Nifty hold on to at 17,350 levels, and an immediate resistance for Nifty is at 17,700. Now the reason is that in the last few week day trading sessions, we did see that Nifty had a gap up opening and we saw a very strong rally in Nifty, and 18,000, near 18,000, there was a very strong resistance. So when we have to collate the even the derivative data of the open interest, there was a very high open interest at a 18,000 strike price. So it was indicating a very strong resistance. So now since then, Friday's trading session or even Monday, we saw a good sell off coming in. Now, yesterday was a very surprising thing, but at the same time, we had a good support level at 17,350 where we saw a bounce and gave a very strong closing. Now, today's actually the trading range of the Nifty is within the yesterday's range and it's in a very narrow range. So, if you see it is just going up by around 0.2% up, that's around, let's say, around 30-40 points up, then again, we are going down. So, it's just holding on there. So today it's been a very quiet thing. Probably it's because of the tomorrow's monthly expiry. But even from here at 17,700, I may see that there is going to be a bit of a resistance there. Now from there also, it could be more of a quiet, like a consolidation, like a sideward move, what we can expect in Nifty. So this is on for the next coming few days of the trading sessions, that even post the like we'll have the September series coming in, and at that point of time we will have like a bit of initial quiet trading days. But overall I am bullish. So even if it's like we are seeing this kind of a correction coming in, but at the same time it's like, good levels to buy, because you've seen such a steep rally from 15,000 to 18,000 in the past, say, 2 months. So it is in fact good that we retrace, and we are getting good buying opportunities in Nifty. Now let's moving on to Bank Nifty. Oh, sorry, this is an intraday chart. Yeah, so this is a daily chart of Bank Nifty. Now in Bank Nifty has actually outperformed comparatively, and we've seen a good uprise, steep rise from 32,000 in mid June to around almost very near to 40,000. I wouldn't say exactly 40,000, but 39,700 levels. And now from the past 2 to 3 trading sessions, we are seeing a bit of a correction. Now here also we are seeing a bit of a zone, which is 39,000, 39,100 on the higher side, and the support levels are at 38,250. So this is the zone that I would consider, that since tomorrow is also the monthly expiry, so we will exactly know tomorrow what would be the rollover data, and accordingly take the next step towards which direction the Bank Nifty can move. But overall, we've seen stocks like ICICI Bank, which has made a 52-week high, but currently it's facing a bit of a selling pressure. But overall, SBI has also done well. In the past few days, it's consolidating. Axis Bank has done well. Kotak has contributed well to the Nifty's rally. So we see that Bank Nifty, in fact, has outperformed overall. So even right now, it we should expect it to consolidate, and if the 38 to 50 levels are holding on, it is just indicating a more on the accumulation side. So even some of the PSU banks, like even Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, all these stocks overall are looking good, and they are just looking for some kind of a slowing down in the momentum, cooling off. But some accumulations can be done at these levels also.
All right, Forum. So, any particular bank like which you find interesting at this juncture, or we should add
Well,
levels?
actually, HDFC Bank here, it's a bit tricky because it does not move parallelly to Bank Nifty.
Yeah.
It works. It has its own way of moving. So I find HDFC Bank for short term as well as long term to be a good stock to be in. If one does not have it in the portfolio, it's a good price to be in. After the merger news, and we've seen a very steep up move and down move in HDFC Bank. And for the past 2 to 3 months, there was a very sideward quiet movement between 1250 to 1400. Now, since the stock has just moved out of that zone of 1400 and it's seen a good momentum, I just marked it in a green horizontal line. And currently,
Mhm.
it's just testing very close to the 200-day moving average. So, technically, it is very important to keep watching the 200-day moving average. And since it's just very close to it, taking support very close to the previous peak also, so it's a good level to buy in, and immediately upside you can see towards around 1550. And for a long term, even like a level of 1600 is visible.
Right. I think we have a question from Samay. So, Samay wants to know the expiry levels for tomorrow, like anything you have on Nifty and Bank Nifty.
So for Nifty, I am yet my levels for the upside are 17,700. It's capped there, and for Bank Nifty, it's like 39,000 to 39,050 also, not even 39,100. But it is, I am capping it over there for tomorrow's expiry.
Right. Right. Okay. So, so now like we have seen dollar index close to 109, and I think the sector that will come into focus again is textiles, because it saw a bit of rundown in the past like 1 month or so, majorly because of slightly weak results from the textile names. But uh, like which stocks do you find interesting in this sector, and which are the levels that we should look out? Like, especially if you could give levels for Vardhaman Textile uh, and Page Industries. Yeah.
So in fact, Vardhaman Textiles is something that we have shared it, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
technically
Yes.
it looks good. overall. And since the entire sector has been doing well, if you just compare it with stocks like Pearl Global or Orbit Exports, these are more in the mid cap segment. But overall, this they have participated in the rally. However, Vardhaman Textile is yet taking its time to do that. It's just technically given a small bullish breakout, but if you look at the volumes, you will see that it's been an exponential volumes overall since the month of July. So it's indicating that yeah, there is already accumulation happening. A lot of people have already got into the stock, and it's just taking its time to witness some kind of a movement. So overall, I am bullish on the stock. So even one can consider buying at these levels, and any move below around say 300 or so, it's where some one should look at exiting it because the entire pattern changes. But at the same time, the upside is 360, where I see an potential upside there. And on our technical grounds, also it's taking off from a 100-day moving average. Even the short term moving average is taken off. The stock is forming like a higher top, higher bottom, indicating okay, there has been a gradual up move. So overall, I am bullish on Vardhaman Textiles.
Right. I think Pranchal also asked this question right now. What's your view on Vardhaman Textile? I hope Forum has answered your question. So next question is actually from Hitesh, and Hitesh basically wants to know about the real estate companies. So any view on the sector, basically the Nifty Realty sector, and also I think there are a couple of stocks we can pick, Shobha and Godrej Properties maybe.
Yeah, so first let's just look at a broader thing of the Nifty reality overall. And actually, we can see that the it has witnessed a very good up move since the month of say June, and from the past say couple of days, around 15 to 20 trading sessions, it's just been a range bound. But overall, also it continues to remain range bound until and unless it's not taken off the levels of 460. Right now, what we were seeing since June was that okay, it was forming higher tops and higher bottoms. Now, since the month of August, we have been seeing that it's formed a double bottom, but not it's not moved up higher. So one needs to wait for the levels of 460 to be taken off to again see some kind of an upward momentum. Now, going on with very stock specific, let's look at Godrej Properties. Godrej Properties. Now, if you notice that when the Nifty reality was moving sidewards, but this stock has in fact corrected quite a lot, and now it is at a support level. So similarly, when we saw that the Nifty reality was forming like a double bottom and it was just trying to improve, so this guy has just moved lower and trying to take support at a 50-day moving average. So it's like I would suggest one can consider taking in a very small position in it and keep a stop loss of around say 1270 and look for an upside target of nearly 1400 or so.
All right, all right. Samay is asking views on India Bulls real estate. I think the stock is also up some 7% today. I think it's the best performing realty stock today. So
Yeah, in fact, it's good. Today it's up by almost 6-7%. Yeah,
yeah,
so in fact
7%.
it's a good buy at these levels also, and in fact it's giving a bullish breakout also from these levels. Let me just mark it so that helps to
Yeah,
see exactly. Yeah. So in fact, it's giving a nice bullish breakout. But actually everybody needs to keep a note of it that India Bulls real estate has witnessed a bit of volatile move, and it actually went into a very long consolidation since the month of April or rather May, and now we can see some volume coming in. So even at these levels, actually it's a decent buy, and one can look for an upward move towards around 93 to 94. So that is the first initial up move that in this stock one can look at it. But at the same time, you have to watch it very closely at these levels because the stock has already seen a very recent up move. So from it's like in the past, say 10 trading sessions that the stock has moved from the lows of around 67, currently at 83, and we're looking for a 94 to 95 target. So it's a very decent up move. So watch those levels very closely to probably look at booking profits or even reduce your positions. So even if you're buying at these levels, and if uh, once you see that it's crossed 90, let the stock price it trace move back again to the zone of around 80 to 83 levels, and then you can start looking at re-entering into the stock.
Got it. Got it. I think Sagar, Sagar and Tajendra have a similar type of question. So I'll just summarize it. So basically, they are asking that the now once the global factors are slightly on the pessimistic side, and also crude is above like almost at 100 and dollar index at 109. Any worries in the short term, and how can we hedge our positions over here? So if you can just highlight uh, like short-term measures that we need to take, and also with regards to index, if we can hedge our positions over there.
So first, that even if where the crude is concerned or the dollar index is concerned, uh, there are some sectors which will benefit and some may not benefit. So when we talk about that, okay, oil, when it was coming down, we saw a very good rally in some of the in the airline space. Along with that was even the paint industry. So similarly, when we talk about it, that dollar is strengthening against the rupee, for example, then it's going to have a bit of an impact, a positive impact on some of the IT sectors along with the pharma. Now, overall, pharma here we talk about it as underperformed comparatively, and IT is just trying to pick up. It saw a very steep falls in this year by around 33 odd percent, and then it went into a consolidation zone for the past 3 months to 4 months. Now we are seeing it picking up, and yesterday, because of it was the view was given from overweight to neutral, that we saw a big impact coming in the IT space yesterday. But at the same time, one should look at it that it's just trying to break out. Technically, I would talk that it's given a breakout from a very long consolidation. So when it's coming down, one can in fact look at those sectors also. So it's giving a chance to buy, and stocks like Infosys, HCL Tech, they are at such good levels that why not add it to your portfolio? Like if somebody was ready to add, for example, at 1800 or 1900, if you're getting it at 1500, why not add it?
Right. Right.
So this is one way that I would look at it, that have a balanced thing where you have your some of the IT stocks. When your economy or when Nifty is moving up higher, your bank Nifty, your financials will keep doing well.
Hmm.
So then at that time, so you're hedging it over there. So once if when we see a fall in the market, so your IT space will be a defensive segment which will help to hedge your portfolio overall. So that's
Right.
how one can look at balancing the portfolio.
Right. Right. I think we have a question on auto sector actually. We Asha is asking views on Sona Comstar, and like basically the valuations have just skyrocketed for the stock. So, so if you could just share your views on Sona Comstar, I think like whole auto space over the last earning season, it's been quite good. Margins have been pretty solid for most of the auto names. But yeah, Sona Comstar has its own story.
And in
It's a
fact, it's
very
done well. And being part of the auto ancillary, also it's outperformed. But at the same time, overall, it looks good. Let me just pull up the chart.
right.
So now here there is a bit trick over here. I'm sure it's this one only, right? DLW Precision
Yeah,
Forgings.
yeah, yeah. This is the stock.
Yeah. So over here you see that when it gave actually moved down. Let me put this thing. Yeah. When it moved down from the 525 levels, this is on 18th of August, there was a very high volume. But at the same time, when we see there has been a sell off overall, but comparatively, on the contrary, there was a decent buying also that happened. Because if there was a sell off, then people would have dragged the stock much lower. So it's trying to take support at these levels. At the same time, for the short term, it can witness a bounce towards 550 levels, where one should be actually looking at selling off or reducing your position if somebody is holding on to the stock. Because over here at around 520 levels, it requires to consolidate and cool off before start resuming its uptrend or downtrend. Right now, I can say that it has just temporarily on a short term basis has breached the support level. So it's just bounced back. So 550 is the resistance there.
Right, right. Uh, Coming back to dollar, I'm sure like textile industry will also benefit from here. So we discussed Vardhaman textile. Samay has one more question. So he wants to ask your view on Nandan denim. So I think there is a breakout that has happened, and there is some news action today. That's what he has highlighted. And the question is that if we can add after the breakout too.
I agree there is a breakout, but it is like a breakout within a bigger consolidation pattern. So I have just marked a dashed red line horizontal, which is close to 3180. So if you see that the price had actually breached those levels, it moved up on 25th of July. It tested those levels and again came down. Now
Yeah.
today the stock price is moving up. It is at 30. It made a high of 30 rupees 25 paise, and it will make an attempt to move back to 3180 levels or 32 also for that matter. The only positive thing for the day is that it has volume. But here also, if you see when the stock price moved from these levels of around 24 to around 31, there was 2 day volume, and again the stock has become quiet. So similarly, these levels have to be watched, or you can only buy above a closing of 32. Once you have that closing, and since there has been volume, then only one should consider adding it. Otherwise, I think you should wait for it, because let's wait for a confirm. Yes, there is a breakout, but it is a breakout within a broader pattern of consolidation. So at right now 3180 to 32 is a capping. Wait for a closing above that, and then one can take a position in.
All right. While we're on the textile sector, we had one offline question also. Someone wanted to know the view on Page Industries. I think we discussed this at the start. So if you can just pull out the chart, and
Sure.
I
Oh,
think
so
Page has performed like phenomenally in the past 1 month. The
yes.
results are also very solid.
Yeah, in fact, it's witnessed a very good up move, like from the levels of 38,000, which was on 22nd of June, and now it's recently made a high of 50,000. It's like a phenomenal return and a very good up move. And it's like in just 2 months, I would say, such a good performance has, like amongst the textile companies, it has outperformed well. So even right now, it's just consolidating, but there is a bit of a trickiness that the relative strength is one of the leading indicators for the price. So is indicating a bit of negative divergence. So which indicates that there can be a possibility for the stock price to come a bit lower, that is towards 48,600 to even 48,000. So wait for those levels. If somebody is holding on to the position, one should look at a trailing stop loss of around 47,500. Any price below that, one should look at exiting the stock, because then we can expect a lower level of almost 45,500. But at the same time, right now, on the price pattern basis, one should look at holding. So your stop loss is below 47,500, hold on to the stock. And once we have these levels of 50,500 taken off, we can look for another 1,000 points of rally in this stock. So overall, the trend is up, but for the near term, maintain a trailing stop loss and look for an upside target of around 51,500.
Right. Right, bro. And also just wanted to know your views on Raymond. How is that?
Raymond has actually been very quiet. It's not really participated much. Um, Let me just see if there is anything here. Actually, there is not much of a movement here. It's very neutral. So just hold it, like from an investment perspective, it is good. But you look at it, absolutely, there has been no volume also. We saw
Yeah,
some volume coming in the month of May, and then it's just been very quiet. So one can
yeah.
look at the longer term, like a long term view to buy at these levels, and somebody has it, then continue holding on to it.
Right. So I think we'll shift focus on the tech sector quickly. Uh, we have two questions actually. Jaswin wanted to know views on Affle India. So he's saying that it's up already 25% in a month. Is it a good buy at current levels too? Yeah,
No. In fact, it's not a good buy at these levels. If you have, you can hold on, but not a very like a fresh buying. Let me even highlight it with a line here. Yeah. Now, I would just explain that as on the 7th of Feb, this is a weekly chart that I'm highlighting, that it made a high of around 1380. Today's high has been 1328, very close to this top. Now, sorry, this high was around, yeah, 1380. So here it is kind of facing resistance right now. Another, in fact, there is a resistance, small resistance at these levels of 1330. So in fact, today's high is very close to its previous high also. That is in the month of April of around 1336. So that is one resistance. Even if you see the stock moving up higher, it has an immediate resistance at 1380. So I wouldn't say that okay, currently the prices move down, so you look at buying it. If you have the stock, you hold on to it, but a new entry would just add on more of risk. There is a bit of upside, it is in the momentum. We can see a lot of volume also coming in, but at the same time, a fresh entry is just going to invite more risk than reward.
Right. Hope that answers your question, Justin. Uh, we have an offline question on Reddington India. So Reddington, usually the Apple preview is down now 2 weeks, I think. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just in 2 weeks on 7th of September. So usually Reddington does quite well, like prior to the announcements that happen. So wanted
Yeah.
to know your view on the stock.
Well, we this entire news has already factored in from the
Yeah.
levels of 110 to move up to 150 plus, or even touching 160, 159.95 is almost like doing the making the noise, I can say. So even from here, one should not look at buying it, because what happens is when the launch happens also, we may see some kind of a profit booking happening. Now yesterday, maybe because there was already some profit booking, somebody's already got it at 130 levels and selling it at around 160, not 160, but maybe even at 150, 155. It's a decent return for the near term, like less than a month's time. So I would suggest wait. If one would like to get into the stock, wait for a level of around 145 or so. Then you can consider taking small positions of adding say 25%. If you're looking at buying say 100 shares, then look at buying only 25 shares at 145. The reason is that it is a bit, the movement is very structural. It has a characteristic or a tendency that it just moves by a buck or so here and there every moment. It's very sudden. So at 145, buying it. If it comes lower, back again to 143, add in more. So that way, if you bring down your average also to the around 144, 145 levels, it's decent. But at the same time, don't just rush into it because of the news. Wait, because we've already seen that entire momentum coming in also. Like this is since July 25th, in 1 month's time, which had made a low of 118, and yesterday 159.95. So that's like in 1 month, it's a decent up move. So let it cool off, and then one can start looking. There is no rush. Prices again comes back to its average. So you will get the price.
Right, right, Forum. Asha has a question on Senlube. Senlube, I think it's Senlube Industries. Must be, yeah, Senlube Industries, yeah. So he has a question on Senlube Industries. It's a micro cap with sound fundamentals, and he's holding from 95. So he just wants your view. Uh,
So it's not a very clear view that I can give, but I can just say that technically, for a long term perspective, it's yet looking good. Honestly, I'm looking at the chart for the first time.
yeah,
So,
good for the first time.
okay, so it's like, so we're sailing in the same boat. I can just give a very long term view on it. It's looking good. It's breaking off from its previous highs also on a weekly chart. Like it's
Yeah.
taking off this year's Jan highs. So even you can expect an upside target of 180. And since he has a decent entry level, so there is no problem as such. You can hold on to it.
Right. We have a question from we have a question from Tajinder on Zomato has shown great recovery from 46 to 62. What could be a possible upside from here? So I think everyone's interested in Zomato now. So
Yeah,
this,
seriously. I think this is a every day even if I am personally not looking at it, but because of some query that I have been tracking the stock every day and discussing it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
on this talk, also, it's like it's been in the news. Lot of like even block deals have happened at the lower levels, and the stock prices moved also well from 40. Right now, what I would suggest is wait for a level of around 54, 55 to buy the stock with an upside target of 70. It is it's range bound just because of the news. It's witnessed a very good up move. Let it cool off. Right now, it's taking support at 58, but I think that because of the RSI indicator is showing a bit of weakness, which indicates that it will come down lower towards 55. So it's a 55 is a safe level to get in, and then with an upside target of 70 is a decent up move on return percentage basis as well.
right one. So Samay has a question. This is slightly on the fundamental side, not fundamental side of stocks, but what he's asking is that can you share some insights on position sizing when the markets are in an uptrend?
So actually, position sizing varies from person to person. I would suggest that, for example, if you have a capital of 1 lakh, then in one stock you shouldn't exceed more than 10% of the total capital. That is one of the rules that I follow personally. That irrespective of how bullish you are on the stock, not to risk it more than 10% of the total capital. So, like 10,000 is a maximum investment that one should look at in one stock, even if the stock you think it's going to double from here or for XYZ reasons. And at the same time, when you are in like you can see it's an uptrend, and for example, there is resistance at around, for example, 18,000 on Nifty. Be careful. Start looking at revising your or modifying your trailing stop losses and keep booking your partial profits. So what I do is that suppose I have 100 shares of something XYZ, and I know the HI market is at resistance and probably stock is also can come down along with the Nifty. I would look at first booking 25%, maintain a trailing stop loss, and if it moves up higher, again book then whatever is the total quantity, then out of that 25%, book it again. So keep booking your profits also when it is very close to the resistance, because unnecessary then when the markets come down they are very volatile and you lose nearly like 3 to 4% on an average easily. So it helps to just maximize your profits and your capital as well.
Right. I hope so. That that's a very insightful takeaway that everyone can have from this session. Uh, Crypto Maxi is asking if you can tell me some technicals about CCL, CCL products. I think.
Yeah, in fact recently CCL products did see some good volume coming in
Yeah,
actually. Yes,
yeah.
and in fact
I
it's
think day
just been.
before. Yeah, yeah. Day before. Yes.
So, in fact, it's a good stock. If you're looking to buy, now look at buying it above 467 levels. I know I am saying a higher level to buy rather than saying that, okay, let's buy it at these current levels if you're getting it a bit lower. The reason is that today, where the markets are also quite silent and it's very range bound. So, let's wait for the highs to be taken off, which will add more momentum to the stock. If it does not take off this highs, then we may see the stock going into a consolidation, and that consolidation would lead the stock price to come down towards around 446 to 447 levels. So then that would be a good price to enter in. So 462 is not good, but above four like a 467 is good, or you get it at around 446 levels. Right now it's in between, so your risk would be higher compared to your reward. And once it takes off the levels of 466 also, then you will be able to see a level of around 480 or the higher side and good volume. So overall, it's been in a trending stock.
Right. Uh, Puram, just wanted your views on. I don't think we discussed the IT sector overall index and how does it look because like, with the dollar coming back and also like some news going on in the IT sector with regards to uh, uh, attrition rates increasing and also wages not being paid. So, would like to know your views. Yeah.
See, the news definitely impacts the stock price, but that is,
Yeah.
again temporary. We have seen a very big fall in Nifty IT in this year since the beginning of this year, from the highs
Yeah.
in Jan till now, rather till I think June or July, and now it just saw some kind of a bullish momentum in end of July, August, and now we're just seeing back the correction coming in. But that is bound to happen. It's just that the news helped and even technically supported that okay, it is going to come down. Now when we see that there has been the stock price moved up towards, this is a Nifty IT index daily chart, so it went up to around 28,653. Again, after a few days it tried to make an attempt again back here in 22nd July. It made an attempt but it could not take it out. Finally we saw a closing there on the 28th of July, and then we the next date we can see was a gap up which actually confirmed the breakout and the momentum. So right now the stock has seen a decent up move in the coming last few trading sessions, and it's just merely coming back to test the breakout levels technically. So even at these levels, one can start nibbling in by small quantities, and there is a good support also for moving average at 28,374. So why not buy it? Like if we were people were buying it, when the stock price, when Nifty IT was in March, after we heard about the Russia Ukraine war, and there was an impact overall, and again there was an up move there. So people were looking at buying at these levels. So when you're getting it at these levels, and it's a safe zone, so why not start buying it? So I would suggest that even if it's coming down, buy it. Like there is Infosys, and get like a safe stock like Infosys is there, HCL Tech is there, Tech Mahindra is there. These are all large cap and safe stocks to be into.
Right, absolutely right, Poonam. So we have a question from Dheeraj. He wants to know your view on fertilizer stocks and paper stocks. So if you can just highlight maybe Chambal Fertilizer and JK Paper, that would be it. I think like because of the European gas prices right now, fertilizer stocks are again coming back to focus, because usually what happens is that because of the high gas prices, the fertilizer production in Europe is curtailed to some uh,
Correct.
some
So in fact,
yeah.
yeah. So in fact, fertilizers, like for example, let's take Chambal fertilizers. It's seen a decent up move right now, and in fact, from the highs also, we have seen some decent correction, or I can say more of a retracement at these levels. So one can start watching it closely, but I would suggest, for example, Chambal, that look at a level of around 320 to 315 to start buying it, because if we consider the highs of around 346 and then now you're getting it at around 320 or 315, I would say that nearly I think 7 to 8% of the correction or the retracement, which is decent enough. And since the stock is in an uptrend, it's trending up, it's above the 50-day moving average, that for the near term it's bullish. So one can look at those levels to buy. But currently, if it does not come there, and I would say the resistance level would be back again to around 340, because it is just, if you look at it, it's more now getting into the consolidation. And these consolidation levels are also good to start buying for a longer term perspective. But somebody is looking for a short term, then it's better to wait.
Yeah, I think I got cut in between. So what I was saying is that like usually European firms they shut down because of the high gas prices, and usually the Indian counterparts benefit. And similar has been the case of fertilizer and also paper stocks. I think like JK Paper and all has seen a good momentum in the recent times too. So if you can highlight JK Paper or West Coast maybe Forum, that would be great. Yeah.
In fact, West Coast had been like I had shared my views, and there was
Yeah,
in
yeah,
fact a
yes,
good in fact the stock price had moved up, and yet there was a buy at around 498 levels. And in fact initially my target was of around 530, which got achieved. And then it was like I was sharing my views that okay, one should start looking at booking partial profits and revising the stop loss. So that helped. Now that's where you can say your position sizing also working taking place, that okay, you've
right.
sold something at 530, 550 levels, and you're revising your stop loss, and you can see that the stock price is trending. In fact, all the paper stocks today have been trending up very well today. Now, be it JK, I don't know what JK paper, but a lot of paper stocks, even Enrail, West Coast paper, Star paper, all of them have been doing very well today. So let's just look at JK paper.
I think JK is also up 3% odd today.
So in fact, I would say that JK paper is even yet a buy at these levels. Like West Coast paper, if you let me have a comparison chart. Here you can see that West Coast paper has just been trending up higher. This kind of consolidation came in between 11th of August to the 16th of August, but we can see that consolidation happening here, and it is not taken off those highs of around 440 or 450. So in fact, JK paper becomes a buy at these levels, and one can maintain a very strict stop loss of around 405, and look at move like a target of around 463 to 465. So JK paper has yet more potential upside, whereas West Coast paper is already taken off. So now the next upside level is around 643 to 647 for West Coast. So as you can see that West Coast is already taken off, and even on the RSI it's in the overbought zone, whereas JK paper is just on the verge of entering the overbought zone. So there is some more potential once it enters the overbought zone.
Right. Right. Thanks a lot for. I think last question we have is about from Amar, and he asks your thoughts on Lakshmi Machinery. I think this is Lakshmi Machinery. Uh,
Machinery, yeah. I think that is with a
Lakshmi
K.
Machine, yeah. Lakshmi Machine, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So Lakshmi Machines again a good chart. It and very good uptrend. It's taking off its previous recent highs of 11,900 also. So and it's in fact taken off the previous highs that is in the month of Feb also. So it's looking good. But I would look for some more volume. The volumes over here, if you have to compare in the month of Jan and if you compare it now, is marginally lower. So, in fact, since it's giving a breakout, some more volume is required. One can be into the stock, but it adds more conviction and add like for the stock to move up higher when we see it moving with higher volumes. So it's good. One can look at holding it, or even one can look at buying and maintain a very small stop loss because it's the volume is a concern to me over here. So 11,570 is what you can look for a stop loss, and you can look for an upside target of around 12,300 to 12,350. But at the same time, be very careful. That's why I'm giving a very strict, very small stop loss that if it has to trigger, you get out of the stock and it's not too much of a loss also.
All right. Okay, I think we don't have any questions. Okay, just a minute. I'm just going through the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Puram, like any last thoughts on the market or like you would like to share about expiry day tomorrow?
I would say that since markets are just trying to hold on, like today, it's absolutely flat. So, not to take a position currently, there is no setup for tomorrow basically. It's
Right.
ideally to wait for the good rollover numbers to come in. It will be a best way to take a trade, may probably on Friday. So, in fact, I would keep sharing. We have lots of recommendations, and we keep sharing the derivative data also.
Yeah.
But on Nifty, to be closely watched of is 17,700 on the higher side. If we see a good closing even tomorrow above those levels, then we may see some further upside towards 17,850 to 17,900. So again, we would be retesting the recent highs, but it requires the important thing is it requires a closing above 17,700.
Right. Right. Forum, just I think there's one last question from Dheeraj. He wants to know the view on NHPC on a weekly time frame.
NHPC, I would suggest it is very good for long term. not for the short term or a trading perspective. One can look at buying at around 33 levels or even 32 and hold for a long term perspective. If you look at it, that it is trying to go up, but it sees a lot of profit booking happening. So for long term, it is fine. You may look for an upside target of 40 or so if you're looking at buying at around 30 to 33 levels. Then that would be 40 being the upside once it gives a breakout above 36. So for long term, it's good, but not from a short term point of view.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Forum, for taking out time with us. And we had quite a insightful session, both with regards to technicals and also like position sizing in the market, and
Thank
especially
you
in
very
these.
much for having me. I equally enjoyed sharing my views, and it's good to see that during live markets, we're able to discuss quite a lot
Yeah.
on this topic.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Forum. Take care.
Thank-
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, bye.